Crimean Tatars or Karimli. Who are they? What are they known for? What have they given to the world? And how did they change history? Watch the new video blog, Moments of History, Personalities, to find out. On February 23, 1918, Noman Chelebidhikhan tragically died. A Crimean Tatar politician, public figure, poet, publicist, and the first president of the Crimean People's Republic. He was a fighter for reforms in the field of religion and education, advocated for the equality of men and women. He was born in 1885 in the village of Bayak near the city of Dzankoy. His parents were representatives of noble families. The word Chelebi means highly educated person. While studying in Bakhizere at the Zinzurli Madriz, Noman was influenced by the educational ideas of Ismail Gasprinsky. And soon he openly stated that the only way to the independence of Crimea was to save the Crimean Tatars from Russian tyranny. In 1912, Noman Chelebidhikhan graduated with honors from Istanbul University and returned to Crimea. For some time, he lived in Bakhizere in the house of Ismail Gasprinsky and worked for the Tuzlaman newspaper. Although his Turkish education was good, there was no opportunity to find a job in his specialty, so Noman had to continue his studies. In September of 1912, he went to St. Petersburg and entered the law faculty of the Psychoneurological Institute. The First World War prevented him from completing his second degree, and Noman and his friend Zafer Seydemet were drafted into the army. The situation changed with the February 1917 revolution. The Russian Empire collapsed and the provisional government came to power. On March 12, a provisional Muslim Revolutionary Committee was elected in Simferopol, which elected Noman Chelebidhikhan as Mufti of Crimea, Lithuania, Poland, and Belarus in absentia. It was time to return and get back to work. In the summer of 1917, Noman Chelebidhikhan created an organization called Milli Furka. Thanks to Chelebidhikhan, a pedagogical institute was founded on the basis of the Zinzurli Madriz. A women's gymnasium and a technical school were opened in Simferopol, and newspapers in the Crimean Tatar language began to be published without censorship. Noman Chelebidhikhan continued to promote the idea of equality between men and women, acted as a guardian and defender of the interests of the women's movement. Chelebidhikhan saw the strength of his people in the formation of a military battalion among Crimean Tatar soldiers. Ukraine was one of the Crimean Tatars' allies. On August 20th, the Crimean Tatar leadership received a telegram from the Ukrainian Rada inviting them to participate in the Congress of Peoples in Kiev. After discussion, the Congress passed a resolution stating that Crimea belonged to the Crimeans. It was then, under the influence of the Ukrainian movement, that the delegates decided to convene the Kurultay to determine the future status of Crimea. On October 25, the Bolsheviks staged a coup in Petrograd, overthrowing the provisional government. Noman saw the communists as a threat and immediately began preparations for the Kurultay, which opened on December 9, 1917. In his speech, Chelebidhikhan condemned the October coup and called for the creation of a multinational democratic republic on the peninsula under the slogan, Crimea for the Crimeans. The Kurultay met intermittently for 18 days. The Congress formed a national government, the Directorate, and adopted a constitution proclaiming the Crimean Democratic Republic. The Directorate took over the management of all affairs of the Crimean Tatar people. It was the most active time for Noman Chelebidhikhan. However, on January 2, 1918, Bolshevik sailors staged an armed coup in Sevastopol and seized power. There were battles between the Bolsheviks and the Crimean Tatar squadron. The Bolsheviks broke the resistance and occupied the outskirts of Simferopol. All these days, the Crimean Tatar parliament met continuously. His associates persuaded Chelebidhikhan to temporarily leave Crimea for security reasons, but he strongly refused. On January 14th, Chelebidhikhan was arrested. He was taken to the Sevastopol prison. At 2 o'clock in the morning on February 23rd, a team of sailors broke into the prison and presented the prison commissar with a list for executions prepared in advance by the Petrograd authorities. Chelebidhikhan was on the list. He, along with other convicts, was taken to the quarantine bay and shot. The sailors did not allow the relatives to bury the mutilated bodies. They were loaded into barges and taken to the sea, where they were drowned. The Simferopol State Archives of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea, under the sign of secretly, stores a telegram sent in February 1918 to Crimea by Lenin personally with an order to execute Noman Chelebidhikhan. The death of Noman Chelebidhikhan was a tragedy for the Crimean Tatar people. He was only 33 years old. The Soviet authorities tried to make everyone forget the name of this outstanding man, the first president of the Crimean People's Republic, Noman Chelebidhikhan.